I am your meat-covered skeleton host, Brendan. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of what we're bringing to you this week. As I just said, I am Brendan. I am one of the co-owners of the Rustic Tub, a small bath and body care business. I say this every single week to everyone because you never know who's coming in, popping by, or sticking around. For the last couple of weeks, we have been doing a lot of soap videos regarding like fast tracing, what we're doing, one of our soaps that was super popular, some experimentation ones. And this week, because we do more than just soaps, we're actually reeling it back into a bath bomb video. So with us being a bath and body care company, you would obviously expect us to be doing some bath bombs in the mix. And some of our bath bombs, we always follow like the same kind of recipe code for it because why fix something that's not broke? You don't gotta reinvent the wheel, essentially. And for us, some of our bath bombs have surprises. We do embeds in them, color changing in them. And even with our 3D printer one, you saw us going into the realm of making toys for our bath bombs. But for this week's video, we're really reeling it back and doing more or less like a very different classic one. Pretty much the theme for this week's video is working with an unconventional color for your bath bombs. So literally for this one, and a lot of people will stay away from this color because there was a certain incident a couple years ago where things happened and a lot of things changed, not only for the tub, but on the people. So for this week's video, we are actually going to be working with jet black bath bomb dye. But we are here to showcase that you can work with wild colors. You can throw caution to the wind and go out there and think outside of the box in this sense. So for today's video, we are making our Earl Grey Lavender Bath Bomb. And on our line, it's actually our black bath bomb. It comes out like a really deep charcoal, turns the bath water jet black, but it does not stain the tub or the skin. And we owe so much thanks to this, and I will give this a special shout out. It is the jet black dye from Fizz. Honestly, since we've started using it, it has changed how we do not only our bath bombs, but our embeds and every little toy surprise. So this is in a lot of our bath bombs that we do coming out with, lots of surprises. And I cannot get excited. I hope excited is the right word. I cannot give this enough credit for this company for creating a black dye that is just so wonderful to work with. And the other thing about going into this video too is not only are we touching base about like the colors and the uses and how to go about it, but we're also going to be touching base on fragrances because out there I haven't really found a proper Earl Grey lavender scent. So I end up making ours out of an amalgamation of 4 scents. So we'll go into that kind of little spectrum as we get into making this. For this, we are using our standard bath bomb recipe. So for most of the people out there, that's going to be your baking soda, citric acid, and then your additions into it. So cream of tartar as a hardener, polysorbate to mix the fragrances in with the balm. And for us, we use avocado oil just to help the skin kind of be happy and be healthy. And once again, with the Bath and Body Care line, secretly take care of the skin. So we have a little bit of a setup right here, a little bit of our ingredients. I already have everything pre-measured out, so we're just going to be going into the mixture and the flow as we go on forward. So we're going to get gloved up and go from there. I will say before I jump into anything, we are doing a half batch of this just because, and this is just full disclosure from me to the rest of YouTube, we are running out of products. We put in a massive order. So in order for us to save product, we're doing a half batch, but we're still going to get about 6 or 7 bath bombs out of this batch that we're working with. If you have watched any of our bath bomb videos beforehand, we are following the standard recipe that we do. We also have that recipe available on Patreon, casual little drop in that one right there. But for the main part, we do have our half batch of our baking soda ready to go. So she's nice and ready in there. And in this cup, coming up next, we have our cream of tartar. We have a little bit of bioturge, and then we're throwing in bentonite clay. So we really want to play with clay features of that one. That's just to help add volume and mixture into our bath bomb. So We're going to leave that off to the side before I jump into anything else on here. And then for this one, we have our half pour of our citric acid. So we will be adding this to the very, very end of the mixture once everything is all in, once we mix all the liquids and the dries together. So you'll see that coming as well. And jumping right on into it, we are filling up a little cup of water. And it's just because it's going to help us dilute everything into our bath bomb mix. It's already going to add a nice little feature to it. And because it's a half batch, I'm literally going to just add half of what I would normally use. And we use 1/4 teaspoon normally for our colors. So half of 1/4 teaspoon we are adding in. And I will go ahead, I will mix this all up. I'll switch the camera so you can see from this point downwards. Okay, hopefully you can see from this angle. I didn't want to say anything while I was mixing in case it overcame the microphone. So I have our black mix right in there. It is half of what we normally use. I'm going to go ahead, pour that right into our mixture. I'm going to mix in dry baking powder. Yeah, it's baking soda. Baking soda, I'm not using baking powder for any of this. And I'm just going ahead and diluting everything that we have, making sure we get all of what we can out of here. And with our mixture here, we're going to go ahead, lock it in, and then we're going to be paddling it. And while this kind of stirs up everything and mixes in, we are going to be throwing in our dry powders and letting that mix up while we do our wet ingredients. For our next bit, we are just adding in a tiny bit of avocado butter just to add some density and extra moisturization to it. For the next bit, we are using one of my favorite products in our bath bombs. That is a 99% alcohol. And we're just using isopropyl. And we just use this product just because it doesn't activate the bath bomb or any of the ingredients in it. So it is perfect if you need to add liquid and stabilization to your mixture as well. And up next will be our avocado oil if she wants to sneak out properly. And then whatever remaining hope that we have with our polysorbate 80, which does, oh, there we go, finally coming out into there. Do we have enough? We have enough. Perfect. For the fragrance portion of this, we are creating our own fragrance. Like I said earlier, I never really properly found a good Earl Grey lavender. I haven't out there yet. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if you do know of one, let me know because I always love hearing from new places to explore. I just go off of what I have created in the past of what I thought would be nice for our own blend. So because it is a heavy lavender one, obviously Earl Grey lavender, I'm going to emphasize a lot on the lavender portion of it. And for ones like this, where you get to create your own scent, this is where you get to have fun. So for an example, if you're doing like a grapefruit and orange, obviously you can do like a 50-50 blend. Doesn't make it truly unique. Anything you make, honestly, makes it unique because you're creating it. So with our measurements and how we work it out and how we like to have fun with it is you can absolutely do half and half. Since we are doing a heavy lavender one, I'm going to make half our fragrance lavender. And because of how we do our portions and how we do our sizes of everything, it's actually great because if I were to do one lavender and let's say 2 different scents, I can split these 2 different scents up in their own. If I'm doing it with a 4 different scent and I have one heavy one that takes up half of the fragrance, the way that we have done our measurements, I'm still able to equally split it up into 3 portions or 4 portions if I wanted to do 1/4 each, half of one and 1/3 of all the other ones. Our measurements are equaled out so that mathematically we can have fun with whatever percentage we want to use. So in theory, 50% is going to be our lavender. And then from that point on, don't quote me on math right now, but it's definitely not a 25% to 25%. Yeah, half batch is really fun when you're trying to come down with like a 1 or 2 gram pour of one thing. That's a 17% of it all. So that is done. All right, all of our liquids are done, ready to go in the cup for the half batch. I'm going to kick the mixer back on. I didn't want to have it on while the microphone was on, in case there was a lot of turbulence. Let's go with that. We're going to throw this in, and then once this is mixed up, we're going to throw in our citric acid so everything will be blended together. And then we're going to be over here just pressing them out, getting them ready to go. All right, our mixture is here. It's ready to go. It's always good to give it a nice little squeeze test. Do a drop in the bowl. See if it holds its shape. The other thing too with your bath bombs is you always want to watch your humidity level when you are making. If it is anything above a 55-degree level for humidity, you might be in for a very wet and activating time. If it is lower than 40, you are going to be in for a very fast drying time. And I'm just using our 3D printed mold that we created. Obviously, with our 3D printer upstairs that we are never going to stop loving. You can see after a press, and let's face it, I'm not a tiny person. So when I press a bath bomb, we definitely make it count. So this is the jet black color when it's diluted with everything. You can tell that it's a beautiful smoky color. And we're not going to be filling the tray just because it is one of our smaller batches for it. Now you are probably also wondering and saying like, hey, this doesn't look like the jet black that you showed us. Well, it certainly is, and that's because the color is mixed in with everything else. This is actually just another example. These are our black embeds that we throw in with a couple of our bath bombs. I'll showcase to you what happens afterwards with it. And although it does look gray, it really does turn black in the water. It might be hard to believe that right now, looking at it going, oh yeah, it is just gray. But I can assure and promise you that it most certainly does. All right, and there we have our cute little 7 bath bombs, just a half batch of what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead, let these babies dry. We'll turn on our dehumidifier, and we will come back to paint them. Actually, while it does set up, I do have our little example right here. So these are 3 of our tiny little embeds that we put in. I already just previously said, although they look gray to the eye, and once you add them into the water, you can see the color starting to take off, especially in this area here. We also do mix it with a little bit of green just for a couple other fun ones. But you can see that the color taking off from it is going to be black. So gray to the eye, black to the water. It will keep going. It has a nice deep purple tone to it when it first starts off. So gloves off for this moment. You can see after the 3 embeds are fully dissolved, the water is a jet black color. So it looks super concentrated. It has a great effect. And the best part is you are not going to come out with different colored hands or different colored anything. And this is what I love about the Fizz Fairy colors is they actually don't stain. So just to showcase to you what this actually looks like in the water, this has now given us enough time for some fun little editing clips for the other bath bombs to be done. In a fun, shocking turn of events, we ended up turning on our superpower dehumidifier, and our bath bombs are actually to a point now where if you do a little squeeze, they're pretty hard and they're holding their shape. So what we're going to do is we're just going to finish off these bath bombs by painting them. And if you've watched our videos previously, you would know we came out with a video about painting bath bombs. And we just show you a couple things that you can use to paint. We're going to go ahead with our little go-to one, as you could say it. And it is just with mica powder and 99% isopropyl alcohol. And I'm literally just going in with a brush. And I'm actually using one of my old makeup effects brushes because I find that it has a lot of a better movement for it. And I'm going to go ahead and bring you down forward just to show you what we do. It's a very simple brush stroke that we do, but also very effective. Okay, coming in from one angle, we'll see how much my reach can do so it doesn't look so awkward on camera. But with the brush and the mica powder for this bath bomb, I literally just give it a nice, I hold to it and flick. And every part of me almost did swish and flick, which if you know where that is from, that is a telling of my age group right there. And then that's it for that one. I'll leave it as those. Well, all right, closer look at this one so you can see the brush stroke on it. So that is our little bath bomb. Nice and simple, like I said. We got a little bit of a moisture wart right there, but that is just because there's a lot of water inside and it needs some places to escape sometimes. Totally normal if your bath bombs look like that. And then that is essentially that. We'll just let them go ahead and we'll let them continue to cure overnight, dry out, get all that moisture out. And some of them will be packed up for an order, some of them will be online. Rest will take to market. And when I say the rest, it's a small amount, but it still counts. And essentially, that is it for this week's video. We just wanted to have something nice and simple coming into this week. And what's more simple than a one color bath bomb, but with a really unique experience of a color? Because not a lot of people do black bath bombs because there is a lot of fear behind it for what it could stain. But honestly, with Fizz Fairy, the jet black color, we've never had a problem yet with it. Nothing but good things for it. We're going to be going ahead, getting these little guys out, ready to go. And also, too, it was just a fun little explanation if you want to play around with your fragrances, if you want to make your own. Strongly suggest you play around with making your own because that'll really set your bar differently from others. And finally, if you like what you see, please do not forget to like, subscribe, follow us on our social medias. We got our Instagram, TikTok, Patreon. I throw this out every single video. Every little bit helps. We are growing more and more. I am more and more happy every time. So we're going to keep this going and we will see you next time. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.